If you'll forgive me, I'm going to begin this vignette with a little personal note. I've always enjoyed Walt Disney cartoons. Kind of grew up on them and never did stop liking them. And I was very delighted in the late 1980s when Disney released The Little Mermaid. I remember walking out of the theater thinking, wow, it was just so powerful and so wonderful. And I came to understand that the main reason that I enjoyed it so much was not the animation or the storyline, but the music and the lyrics from the music. Well, when Howard Ashman, the lyricist, and the composer Alan Menken accepted the Academy Award for the Best Original Song, Under the Sea, at the Academy Awards in 1990, Ashman had told Menken that he had something very serious to tell him when they got back home to New York. When they arrived back home, Ashman told Menken that he had tested positive for HIV. Less than a year later, Ashman was dead at the age of 40. And this was just the tip of the iceberg at the time. The AIDS epidemic was sweeping through the arts community, just devastating it. The names on a list of those who passed in the 80s and 90s in motion pictures, television, all kinds of related industries, the arts, literature, is so long that it's hard to fathom. And when you read that list, you recognize the names of some of the most luminous people. Menken lamented that he thought that maybe AIDS had done irreparable damage to the entertainment industry. Older pop icons like Rock Hudson and Tony Perkins had also, during that time, succumbed to this horrible disease. Now, as Craig can tell you and has told you, we have AIDS under somewhat control, but in some places that's not the case. In Africa, for example, there are an estimated 10 million AIDS orphans because there is a heterosexual disease afflicting huge percentage of women, itinerant workers like miners, truck drivers. It's far from over as a health problem. It's a public health issue. But when we look at it in the entertainment industry, it becomes very, very hard to understand and very hard to fathom. Now, the arts industry gradually began to stop feeling sorry for itself and went on the offensive. For example, in 1993, Hollywood director Jonathan Demme released the movie Philadelphia. Tom Hanks plays a lawyer with AIDS, gets fired by his firm, hires another lawyer, played by Denzel Washington, to help him sue the firm because the firm thinks that the Hanks character is going to inflict other people in the firm with AIDS. Well, Washington's homophobic, and part of the movie is showing how Washington gradually loses his homophobia, comes to care very much for Hanks and to understand that gay folks are just folks. Other productions, television productions, plays, books, the band Plays On HBO, began to turn the tide of public opinion about this disease and began to put enormous pressure on the public health community to get underway and do something about it. It also had the effect, incidentally, of changing the American public's opinion about the homosexual community, about gay rights. And one could argue that maybe the only silver lining to the AIDS cloud was that gradually, but inexorably, American opinion turned in favor of accepting these folks and granting them their rights.